What's up, people? I'm Seb. This is my channel, To Live is to Suffer. Today we're going to be reviewing one of the greatest books ever written about power by a female. This is a man's channel, but today the ladies are going to tell us something new. Let's get straight into this. Let's go.
Almost 100 years ago, a woman named Florence Scovel Shinn wrote a tiny book that has quietly influenced millions of people. It predates modern manifestation, it predates the law of attraction movement, it predates neuroscience. And yet, many of the principles she taught are now being validated through psychology, behavioral science, and our understanding of identity. Today I want to share the 5 most powerful distinctions I learned from her work and explain them through the lens of modern science and my own experience coaching tens of thousands of people. So let's get into it.
Okay, before we get into it, people, the only payment that I ask to cross the bridge is to hit that like button and subscribe button. Hit that now, please. Join the team. Let's help men become great men. That's the problem that I'm trying to solve on this channel. I want to help thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of men become great men and great productive members of society. I'm going to say great productive members of society. That's what I want to help hundreds of thousands and millions of men to do. So now let's get into this. Change minds.
All right, guys, we hear a lot about other teachers like Napoleon Hill, Neville Goddard, but dare I say that I would put Florence Scovel Shinn head to head with any great New Thought teacher. She's definitely on my starting 5. Her book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, is in my top 5 all-time reads. And she wrote a number of other amazing books like The Secret Door to Success, Your Word is Your Wand, The Power of the Spoken Word. I'm going to David-splain Florence Scovel Shinn today because there's a good chance if you've been wanting to change your mind and change your reality, that Florence has a key that can unlock the next level for you. So, distinction number 1. Life is a game governed by spiritual law. So Florence opens The Game of Life and How to Play It with a powerful claim. She says, most people consider life a battle, but it is not a battle, it is a game. So she consistently...
I'm not so sure. I think when anybody asks me, boy, Seb, what you up to? I say, I'm on the battlefield. What are you doing today? I'm on the battlefield. What you be doing on the weekend? I'm on the battlefield. To me, life is a battle. I don't really think life is a game. I understand what people are saying. There's rules to this. There's rules how to win. But to me, to the great man them, I think life is a battle. Straight away, I think life is a battle. It's a fight every single day. To live is to suffer. Suffering ain't no game. That's a battle. So I don't really agree, but I'm going to let him flesh it out and see if I agree after point number 1.
Reframes the entire human experience as a game governed by a set of consistent laws. And this is a big deal because if life is a battle, then strength wins. But if life is a game, then understanding the rules wins. And
okay, let me hear what he's got to say.
she argues that every person is playing the game whether they know it or not.
Okay, I agree.
And that the laws governing this game are spiritual rather than merely material. And this is a complete break from today's industry of motivation and inspiration where you're told to hustle and grind.
Yeah, that's right.
If you're not working hard enough, you need to just wake up earlier. The way Florence describes the game is played is so much more elegant and frankly, so much more in alignment with the way that I would want to play the game of life. And one of her recurring themes is that people suffer not because the universe or God is withholding blessings, but simply because they are unknowingly violating spiritual law. And that's a radically different way of looking at life because instead of asking, why is this happening to me or what am I doing wrong? She says we should be asking, what law am I failing to understand? And throughout her book, she tells stories of people whose external circumstances changed only after an internal realization. There's a woman who's struggling financially. She discovers that resentment and fear have dominated her consciousness. And the moment she lets that go, her situation changes. Another person remains trapped until they stop fighting the circumstances that are showing up in their lives and they learn to let go, which allows a divine order to step in and solve their problems. And her stories are almost always following the same pattern.
I do agree that a man should be physically dangerous, intellectually dangerous, and also, most importantly, spiritually dangerous. And that makes you goddamn triple threat. So I do agree that you do need spiritual intelligence, spiritual enlightenment. I do think you need that. That is part of the triple threat. Yeah, I'll say that again for those in the cheap seats. You need to be physically dangerous, you need to be intellectually dangerous, and you need to be spiritually dangerous. That is a triple threat, and you are going to be the ultimate man if you can lock those three things down.
There's an internal correction, then an external change. And it's never the reverse. She is remarkably consistent about this. She says, consciousness comes first, experience follows. One of the things that I really like about how Florence teaches is that she's always referencing scripture. She says the Bible is a guide for understanding these laws. So, for example, she references Isaiah, if ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. If you follow the laws, you'll prosper. That's basically what this is saying. So she interprets scripture all the time.
I don't know about that. I'm not too sure about that one.
Less as religious doctrine and more as how the mechanics of consciousness work. Okay. This is one of the reasons I like her so much, because she takes...
Trust me, people, I'm here. I'm trying to learn just like you. Sometimes you watch content, you don't always agree with everything, but there's always something to learn in every little piece of content that you're going to watch, in every little piece of information that you consume. As long as your heart's in the right place and your mind is open, you're going to learn. Like, I don't really agree that life is not a battle. I think to live is to suffer. We are on a battlefield, and I believe that strength always wins. Always. If you can't defend what you have, somebody else who's meaner than you, tougher than you, stronger than you, willing to face the consequences of taking what you have, will take what you have. You must be dangerous to stop people taking what you have. Otherwise, people will just be walking all over you. And I don't see how you can be spiritually conscious to stop that. If I'm coming to take what you have, you can pray to anybody you like. I'm going to take it if you don't know that life is a battle. And I'm going to fight for it and take what I want from you. And that, you know, I'm a multi-fighter. I'm a Muay Thai fighter. So I fight in the ring, get punched and kicked in my face all the time. And there's some guys that are willing to beat me and pulverize me. And if I'm not ready on the day, if I'm not trained and disciplined and ready for that battle, they will take points away from me under my skin.
Takes the seriousness out of life, and she says it's a game. She removes the blocks and the impossibilities that we all experience. And she says, look, the block is a misunderstanding of the law. Understand the law, and you can remove the block. So everything that she talks about is how the internal creates the external. And she does it in such a law-based, framework-driven way. Of course, I love frameworks. That she presents reality as a structure that anyone...
I will yam your food, boss. I will yam your food.
...can get good at learning. And I don't know about you, but that makes me excited. It makes me really want to get good at the game.
Not me.
So distinction number 2, your word is your wand. So if there is one idea that Florence returns to over and over again, it is that speech is a powerful creative force.
Yes,
so she wrote a whole book, 2 books actually on the subject. She says
your speech is a weapon. The pen is definitely mightier than the sword, but the pen instructs the sword. So you've got to understand that your speech and your writing is very, very, very powerful. But that's just part of the three-pronged approach that I give you. Physically dangerous, intellectually dangerous, spiritually dangerous. I think number 1 covers spiritually dangerous in this video. And number 2, your spoken word, your written word, is your intellectual dangerousness. It is. It's a weapon to become great.
Words are never neutral, and your words reveal your beliefs and your thought process, and then they reinforce themselves into reality, and that they have the ability to be creative or destructive.
Yes.
So she talks...
The tongue is powerful, and as a man thinketh is as you are. Your tongue is powerful. Whatever you say through your tongue can manifest into physical reality. That is the ether, the rules of the universe that we live in. The tongue is absolutely powerful, boys.
It's about observing that most people are continually speaking against themselves without realizing it.
Okay.
People say they never have enough. They say nothing works out for them. They say they're unlucky. They say they always attract the wrong people. And then they become surprised when life continues to reflect those assumptions. So for Florence, your speech is not simply describing your life. Your speech is participating in the creation of your life. Again, this is...
I really endorse that point. I don't agree that life is not a battle and life is a game. I don't agree with that point, but I do agree that your speech, the power of the tongue, will manifest into the physical reality of your life. Be careful what you say, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you ask for, be careful what you chant. If you chant negativity, you will get back negativity tenfold in your life. If you chant positivity, you'll get back positivity 1,000-fold in your life. Just understand that, man, them. To be a great man, your tongue is powerful. Be careful what you say. Only give yourself positive affirmations. If you don't have anything good to say, keep your mouth shut.
This is why she devoted 2 entire books to the subject. So she believed that words impress themselves not only on the subconscious mind, but on the field of reality itself. And one of her recurring themes is that the miracle that someone is often looking for often begins when someone changes the way that they speak.
I agree.
Not because saying different words is magical, but because different words are revealing a different consciousness. And so she's always showing that when someone stops speaking from fear and starts speaking from faith, their decisions change, their identity change.
You must understand, people that follow this channel, to become a great man, fear is not real. Fear is a concept that you create in your mind. Different people have different levels of fear because they have different conceptualizations of fear. Fear stands for, I don't know, what's fear stands for? Fear stands for the F. What's the F for? Something, something, something. I'm going to tell you what fear stands for because I can't think of it right now. False evidence appearing real. That's it. Fear. I'm smiling because I remembered it finally now, the acronym. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's false. It's just something that you create in your mind. But danger is very real. Do not confuse danger with fear. Fear is something you can fabricate in your mind. It comes from worry. It comes from your previous experiences. That's what fears are. But danger is real. If you see danger coming, take evasive action or offensive action. But if you feel fear, you don't see fear, you feel fear. Go through your roller index of emotions and choose another emotion. Trust me.
Changes, their expectations change, and eventually their circumstances change. But she also says that words are magical because they inform how coincidence and synchronicity show up for you. So the word becomes the outward evidence that an inward shift has already begun. And she's always referencing scripture. She says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. And by thy words thou shalt be justified, by thy words thou shalt be condemned. And so she reads these as spiritual instructions. Your speech is constantly setting the direction for your consciousness. And this just makes sense. If we look at it from a modern perspective, your words are more crystallized vibrations of your thoughts.
Yes, they are.
If your thoughts are vibrational, words are amplified frequency of your thoughts.
I agree.
So words are the first representation of your thoughts in the physical world.
Yes.
And so they become a very real creative force.
Yes,
it's like this idea of the word has now become flesh.
Very
the thought has now become physical through your speech.
Very creative.
And the stories that you repeatedly tell about yourself become the lens through which you perceive reality. And look, let's be honest, most people complain a lot, right? Try noticing for the next 24 hours when you say something negative. You'll probably be shocked at how frequently that happens.
No,
or
not with me.
You speak something.
But with you guys, don't try not to say anything negative. If you want to be on this journey with me, for me to help you solve that problem, becoming a great man, from just an average man, a little sucker, a simp sucker, into a great man, you have to cut the negative things that you say about your life, even about what you say about other people. Only speak positivity into the universe, and those physical vibrations, those crystallized creations, of the vibrations. That's your thoughts. That's what the lady's saying in the book. Your thoughts are vibrations, and your mouth can turn your thoughts into crystallized versions of your vibrations. I get you. Just keep the negativity to yourself. If you have nothing good to say, don't say it, people. I'm just going to say that message for this video here today.
Thing that's not in alignment with your desires, right?
Also, the toll that I paid to cross the bridge is to hit the like and subscribe button. So hit that button right now, people. Thank you very much.
Say, I just don't have enough time, or my body hurts, or I'm tired, or it's going to be hard. Like all of these words represent your current consciousness, and your consciousness creates your reality.
That's right.
Right? Like Ford said, the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right.
Hey.
Sometimes it's...
I thought that was Confucius say. He who usually says he can and he who usually says he can't are both usually right. I thought that was Confucius say, but now you're saying it's Ford. Okay.
Hard to notice your thoughts, but it's much easier to catch your words. And so if you just stop speaking your negative thoughts into the world,
that's right,
you choke off the sunlight to your mind, and eventually the negative beliefs start to dry up. Right? That's how powerful your words are.
Powerful.
They are the doorway between the inner and the outer world, between the visible and the invisible. And according to Shinn, your speech is the gate that determines what you allow out into your physical reality. Distinction number 3.
Let's go.
Non-resistance is the key to creation. Now, one of Florence's deepest teachings is that resistance strengthens the very thing resisted. And she repeatedly points her readers towards Christ's instruction to resist not evil. And at first glance, that sounds passive, but her interpretation is actually anything but passive.
Let me hear.
She suggests that emotional resistance binds consciousness to unwanted conditions. I'll say that one more time. Emotional resistance binds consciousness to unwanted conditions. In other words, fear keeps fear alive. Resentment keeps the past alive. Conflict perpetuates conflict.
But
the energy that you invest in fight.
You do need to, if a man's bringing constant conflict to you, you have to bring constant conflict back. So I don't really agree that conflict perpetuates conflict, but I do agree that fear perpetuates fear, and that it spirals you into worry. Worry is the second worst sickness in the world that any human being can have, is worry. Okay,
fighting something often becomes the energy that's actually sustaining it. So instead of forcing life into submission, she teaches non-resistance. Across her books, she tells numerous stories of people who finally get what they want only after letting go of fear or control or bitterness or desperation. I
don't think you get what you want by simply letting go, but I do agree that for you to get what you want in life and become a great man, you have to let go of the past. You have to stop blaming people. You have to stop blaming your dad who wasn't there, your mum who wasn't there, your gran who spanked you when you was little or gave you beats. You got to stop blaming people. Stop blaming your boss who fired you, your best friend who betrayed you, your spouse who betrayed you. Stop blaming people. Everything is your responsibility and accountability. Let it go. Move on. Don't remember these people. On your journey to becoming a great man, forget about people. There's so much bad memories that I forget about. I literally don't remember them. Like someone has to remind me of what actually happened, or what don't you remember what that person done to you? Don't you remember what he done to you? Don't you remember what she done to you? I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, they're bad mind. They're envious. Yeah, I forget. I haven't seen them for a couple of years. I got to stay away because I block those negative thoughts of the past out of my head. I always want to move on. I want to move forward. You've got to let go. I agree with this wholeheartedly. I endorse that message 100%. Before you can move on to become a great man, you've got to let go of any negative thoughts, any negative emotions. You can't carry water in a basket. And that is what the negativity does. You will never make it uphill with a bucket of water on your head, because the basket is full of holes. And all of those holes are all of the emotions and bitterness and betrayal that you've been hurt by, and you've got to plug all of those holes in the bucket before you can get to the top of the hill with your full bucket of water.
Internal breakthrough always follows an internal surrender. Again and again, she demonstrates that letting go is not giving up. It is creating space for a higher order.
You have to let go to catch. Let me see if it's on the video clip. There it is. You've got to let go to catch something. You've got to let go of something to get hold of something new. So you've got to let go of the old to hold on to something new. You have to leg off it, catch, as my grandmother would say to me.
To enter the system, which creates a resolution to the problem itself. In other words, non-resistance creates a space for solutions to emerge, and resistance simply perpetuates the problem that you're trying to solve.
No, I
and
don't
she
like that.
points to teachings in the Bible like,
No, I don't like that.
Agree with thine adversary quickly.
Let me hear you.
Right? You first read of that and you're like, agree with my adversary quickly.
Okay, let me hear you.
But what that is indicating, it's an instruction related to consciousness that you should be non-resistant, right? She interprets these as instructions for consciousness.
I kind of get that.
And the objective is not surrendering the circumstances. The objective is withdrawing your creative energy from what you no longer wish to perpetuate in your reality. Now, of course, I love this teaching.
I kind of get that. Let me give you an example that happened to me just recently. On one of my properties, a guy was driving through one of the automated gates coming into the compound. The gate hit his car and scratched up his car when the gate was closing because somebody else was driving his car. I think it was another person in his family, and that person wasn't really familiar with driving through the gate and how to drive through the gate and how quickly they should drive through the gate, and the gate was on auto close. Now, he called me, was really upset, basically saying the gates damaged his car. Now, I just could say, you should know how to drive through the gate. Person should know how to drive through the gate. Automatic gates are something that are really common. I could have I did review the CCTV. I saw the incident, and I just thought, you know what? He's made it up in his mind that I am responsible for fixing his car, his vehicle. He's made it up in his mind. And if I try to get out of this argument and go against him, I'm just going to have an enemy forever. He's just going to dislike me forever. He's always going to have these issues over me forever. I'm going to have to be arguing with him about the liability of the vehicle, whether I should pay half, whether I should pay quarter, whether I should pay nothing at all. And he had it in his mind that I was responsible. Now, let me tell you something. I just ended this so quickly and just said, listen, here's a bodywork man. Take his number, go down to him, let him give you a quote, and I'll fix the car. Done. And I could move on. Agree with thy enemy quickly. I won't say this man is my enemy if he watches this video. He's still my friend, but he will understand the scenario that I put to him because I told him this myself. You already have it on your mind that I'm to blame. Let me just agree with you, pay the money to fix the vehicle. It was to me, affordable amount to pay. I paid the money, it was done, I moved on. I don't have to argue with him, don't have to convince him. I just agreed with him, okay, it's my fault. I don't want the conflict, I don't want the confrontation. Let me move forward and put other things on my head. Bigger problems that I need to solve, bigger issues in my life. Let me just leave that one instead of arguing. So I agree with the lady. Sometimes you have to agree with thy enemy. Agree with thy enemy and just move on. Someone says you're a fool. All right, no problem, I'm a fool. Bounce. Someone says you're an idiot. Okay, no problem, I'm an idiot. Thank you. Bounce. Don't stand there and argue with them. Don't waste your time. Keep your mind free. If you want to be free is what I said, yeah? Free. Keep your mind free to do big things, to focus on positivity. Once again, before I replay the video, the only toll that I charge to cross the bridge is hit that like and subscribe button to the channel, people. To live is to suffer on God's green earth.
It's in alignment with one of my primary teachings I call the golden equation, which is desire plus non-resistance equals desired result. Right? If there was one equation that distilled down all of personal growth, success principles, spiritual law, it would be that.
Okay. I think I'm going to hit this one out because he's going into some mathematical formulas now and blinding me with science. But let me tell you, this lady's book looks like a good read. It might be something that I go pick up and find or watch some more videos on this and review some more videos. I'm going to give a link to the original video in the description. Once again, if you reach this far on my video, thank you. I really appreciate your time. My name is Seb. My channel is To Live is to Suffer on Earth. And I want to help men become great men, to become great positive members in society. Thank you.